Bravely Default is a series that embraces creativity, with its wide array of jobs and abilities and the freedom to explore all forms of class combinations and team compositions. All kinds of builds and setups have been birthed from the players who... No, wait, that's a terrible way of putting it. Why am I even keeping this in the script? I'm the one who's writing. Look, basically, Bravely players have made some cracked out builds over the years. A personal favorite from my own collection was my Necromancy team, where I spammed a self-destruct passive on 3/4 of my team and had the last person just continuously resurrect them to keep it going. I'll link it in the description if you want to know more and see it in action, but first, finish watching this video, please. Just give me that watch time. That's all I ask for. That and a like and sub if you're new. Thank you very much. Now, naturally, when you give players so much creative liberty with your game, they can tend to find some really powerful stuff. A prime example of this is the Ghost Mage comp, which had 3 untargetable spellcasters doing over 1 million damage per turn on average, and just nuking anything the game could throw at you. Then you've got stuff like Godspeed Strike and Reflect Arcanist in BD2. There's just been a lot. But today, I wanted to sit down and reminisce on something that transcends mere overpoweredness. Today, I wanted to talk about the time that a Superboss was completely undermined by a single ability, utterly destroying the fight. Now, some of you are probably already familiar with this story, as it's been a known thing for years at this point, but I wanted to bring it to more people's attention for those both in and outside of the Bravely community. So we'll be going over everything for those watching who haven't even heard of Bravely Default before. And if you haven't heard of it up to this point, there's nothing wrong with that. It just means you'll have plenty to learn from this video. Before we get into the ability itself, we need to discuss the boss fight and how it worked first so that we can understand what's happening. So let's go back to the good old days on the 3DS, back in 2014 with the release of Bravely 2nd, or 2 years later in 2016 for us Westerners. Everyone gets to the end of the game and gets access to the Dimension Dungeons. One of these dungeons takes you through the old pathway to the Temple of Fire from Bravely Default 1, and at the end sat our good old friend, the Adventurer. This was the return of the same Superboss from the first Bravely Default, but with an additional phase that contained new abilities. The Adventurer boss fight has 2 bodies involved, the already named Adventurer and their Fox comrade. The Adventurer has 530,000 HP per phase, while the comrade only has 50,000. The Adventurer is capable of very powerful party-wide attacks, both magical and physical, and will occasionally brave to take more than one action and try to wipe you out. And if you get to phase 2, they get to use Bird of Prey to multi-hit your party, Sonnenblume to reverse turn order, and Meteor gets modified to the stronger Meteor Rain. Meanwhile, the Comrade acts as a support, healing the Adventurer with Curaga, giving them extra BP, while also having access to Dispel and Blind. Oh, and it will also take any single target damage that would hit the Adventurer. So as long as the Comrade is up, you can't really damage the Adventurer unless you're using party-wide attacks. And if you kill off the Fox, the Adventurer will immediately bring it back next turn if they're still standing, and vice versa. So the strategy of the fight is to lower the Comrade's health, buff up your team, then you finish off the Comrade and take a chunk out of the Adventurer on the same turn. The Adventurer then brings the Comrade back, and you repeat the process until both are dead on the same turn, and then do all that again for phase 2. Alright, so now that we have an understanding of the boss, how can one single ability just destroy this boss fight? Well, let's get into it. In Bravely 2nd, there's a class known as the Kaiser. This job focuses around battlefield control, a support class that affects both your allies and your enemies. You can buff crit rate for everyone, increase damage across the field. Even the Sonnenblume ability that reverses turn order comes from this class. But none of those are what we're interested in. The ability we're here for today, the one lone command that can absolutely decimate this Superboss, is a little thing called Winter Storm. Winter Storm is an active ability unlocked at job level 6 for the Kaiser, and reads as such: nullify HP, MP, and BP recovery for all enemies and allies. It lasts for 3 turns and has a low cost of just 16 MP. So, why does this ability break the adventurer fight? Well, let's go back to that last bit of info we went over. When the comrade dies, the adventurer will immediately use Call Comrade next turn to bring it back. This is guaranteed to happen. If the comrade is down, the adventurer will make it their absolute top priority to resurrect the fox next turn. They will do nothing else until that fox is back on the battlefield. So, we default the party on our first turn so everyone has 1 BP and won't be caught out at -1 if we move to phase 2. Then we activate Winter Storm and begin hitting the comrade until it dies. Then we loop our Kaiser casting Winter Storm and everyone else doing a single basic attack. Next turn, when the adventurer tries to bring back the comrade, it fails. Because Winter Storm is preventing HP regen. And because Call Comrade is only ever used on its own, the adventurer never braves or takes a secondary action alongside it, their turn is over without getting to attack us, and then we whack the boss. Next turn, same thing happens, and it will continue to happen so long as we keep Winter Storm active for the rest of the fight. There are a few things to keep in mind when using this strategy, such as the fact that your team also cannot brave or heal while Winter Storm is active, as well as being mindful of the phase transition where the comrade will return at the start. But as long as these are accounted for, the adventurer is well and truly done for. And that was the end of this tale. So what did you think of our Lone King Winter Storm being able to topple the hardest boss in Bravely Second so easily? Is this an intended Omega Brain strat for the boss, or just a massive oversight from the dev team? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, or feel free to join my Discord. There's tons of people in there you could discuss it with. I've also got other videos like this. I'll put some of them up right now. Give those a watch if they interest you. If you know someone else who also might be entertained by this little story, why not share it with them? And if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It is massively appreciated, so thank you. Alright, that's all for now. I'll see you soon.